Hey guys, happy Friday. Apologies for not getting the video up yesterday, but life happened and the day got away from me. So that's what happened. No excuses, just the day got away from me. Today I wanted to talk about what we feed our chickens, especially as we're transitioning into winter, and we have them in the garden space. I know I've mentioned before that why we have them in the garden, and what work they're going to do for us in here. But more importantly, we're going to talk about what they're eating, because depending upon the time of year, that's gonna vary here in Minnesota. There's a lot of people throughout the country who have the ability for almost all of the year to feed their chickens primarily off of their land, with bugs and grass, things like that. But in Minnesota, our grass goes dormant and dies, and then we get snow, and they can't get to the grass and the seeds and the flowers that they always eat, and then there aren't any bugs. So for us, that's one thing that we're hoping that the compost pile underneath down there will take care of. But we do feed our chickens a grain-based diet. It's mostly grain-based in the winter months. You'll see here it's grain-based. We'll just say that. But it's something that it's going to help with their egg production. It's going to keep them fed. It's going to keep them able to stay warm. Now the compost pile under here, our hope is that once it's active, that they'll find enough bugs under there, that we started it soon enough that they'll find enough bugs and live matter and microorganisms in there to help satiate them with the bug wants for the winter, all while keeping them warm as well. Now, another thing that we feed our chickens that I have mentioned before is our kitchen scraps. This gives them a variety. Feeding them their eggshells back is a good thing because it helps with calcium, so that they actually have strengthened eggshells as they continue to produce their eggs. It gives them some diversity in their diet. All the while, they're also working in the compost, scratching and digging, and kind of churning the compost pile with some of our old scraps. They will eat out of the seeds first out of a zucchini, and then they'll eat the meat, I guess, and then they'll kind of leave the rind or shell. Same for butternut squash, spaghetti squash. Yesterday I cut up some butternut squash for them that the outside was getting a little soft, and you'll see it there. That'll just kind of be there for them to eat. But we'll go ahead and put the compost, kitchen scraps under the coop for the chickens and see what they do. The food scraps. They'll go and find the stuff that they like first, which is usually the eggshells. They get pretty excited about that. They know what they are. Sometimes people will leave them on the counter and dry them out and then crush them up and put it in the food scrap bowl bucket to feed back to their chickens. so that they don't see them as the shape of the egg and then become egg hungry, I guess I would say, and then start eating eggs out of the nesting boxes. Now, we haven't encountered that yet, and we really haven't had much of an issue with that in the past. So we're hoping that that doesn't become an issue. But what we found is that the chickens actually really like berries in the food scraps. They go for berries. What else do they go for? Meat. I think that is probably one of the biggest misnomers out there about chickens, is that they're vegetarians or feeding them a vegan diet. Chickens are the biggest carnivores you will meet. Justin Rhodes actually calls them dinos. They're so much like dinosaurs. If you sit there and you watch them, what they eat, things like that. We've actually seen chickens take down mice, eat rats, and little voles from our garden. So that's kind of what we've been feeding them right now. In the spring, they'll get really excited because there'll be new grass and lots of new bugs. And then throughout the summer and fall, they'll continue to eat different bugs and seeds, grass. They love clover and alfalfa out in our hayfield. But we do supplement with the grain-based diet, like I said. In the winter, we feed them more, just because there's not as much fresh grass and bugs and whatnot. So I'll just kind of give you another view of the chickens as they eat. If you have any questions about what we feed our chickens, go ahead and leave it in the comment box below. So I think one question we're going to get asked is if we feed our chickens organic and or non-GMO feed. Currently we do not, on their grain-based feed. Anything that's on our property is, we don't spray anything, we don't use fertilizers, we don't use pesticides, weed killers, things like that. Right now, the grain-based feed that they do get is not organic or non-GMO. We are trying to source a better place to get that from where we are currently buying our feed, especially as our flock continues to grow and with our plans to do more meat chickens. We've looked into doing being labeled certified organic, and it's something that we are currently considering. We haven't made a final decision on that. But right now, I don't think it's about the labels. I think it's just about knowing where your food's coming from, how it's raised. Are your chickens happy? Because ultimately, that's going to show in the food that you eat from them, whether it's the eggs or the meat. And right now, these chickens are happy. What we're hoping to do is produce and happy meat chickens, have happy laying chickens who produce fantastic tasting eggs because they're happy, because they're getting the food that they want. So if you have any other questions about what we feed our chickens and how we feed them, leave them in the comment boxes below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it. And if you're not subscribed yet, please go ahead and subscribe. And we'll see you next time, guys. Bye.